All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Caring for Your Pet. And this is where you can learn more about how to simply, easily, and compassionately keep your pet healthy and happy. My name is Berns Galang, and I am so thrilled to share something that can bring you value as pet owners today. And now, if you have cats, or if you want to have one, or maybe two or more, then this is for you because today we're going to talk about cats and feline behavior. And I'm honored to bring you our guest, Jennifer Van de Kieft. She is a certified advanced feline training and behavior professional through the Animal Behavior Institute. And she is trained to address problem behaviors like litter box issues, aggression, fear or anxiety, nighttime walking, nighttime waking, excessive vocalization, and destructive behaviors. And aside from behavior issues, Jennifer is also passionate about feeding and nutrition for cats. And she also volunteers for Brooklyn Animal Action supporting the rescue community. And she also gives feline behavior advice to rescuers and recent adopters. And right now, Jennifer lives with her husband and her son and five cats in Brooklyn, New York City. So, hi, Jennifer.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Nice to have you here in our show. So, Jennifer, I'm curious, can you share with us your journey and how you became an expert in feline behavior?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I actually worked in the addiction field for a long time, roughly 20 years. And it was never really my passion. I kind of just fell into it. And at one point I saw, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jackson Galaxy's show, My Cat from Hell. And as soon as the first time I saw the show and I saw what he was doing, that he was helping people with cat behavior issues, I immediately thought, this is what I should be doing because I love cats and I have this, strong connection with them. And I'm so interested in what they do and their behavior. And I started looking into programs and education, how you can get certified. And I kind of made a plan on how I was going to do this. And so eventually I was able to leave my job. I basically retired from the addiction field and I took classes in feline behavior at the Animal Behavior Institute and I became certified. And after I became certified, I started my own business.
Wonderful. It's really interesting how animals and specifically cats can really transform us and change our lives and make us better humans, so to speak. And I've heard of other experts who are also uh, from a different profession, and then they were touched by cats or dogs, and then it changed them, and they're really very passionate about what they do now, and that's really because of an animal like a cat or a dog in their lives. So it's very interesting. I like that story.
What's funny about it is, when I was in the program at ABI, I said, this is so different from what I was doing. And, my professor pointed out, she's like, it's really not that different because a lot of times cat behavior issues, there's a trigger, just like with addiction, people have triggers. And then when I was working in the addiction field, we would write these treatment plans, on how to address the different areas in someone's life, that they need help with. And it's kind of like doing the same thing, with the cat's life. It's these are the areas that are going wrong. And here's what we're going to do to address it. So it's funny that I didn't see that, but it's actually not that different.
Oh, yes, but there's really a connection there. And yeah, speaking of which, what value do you see being an expert specializing only in cats?
Well, I'm obsessed with cats. So what's great about specializing is that you can really focus, anytime there's an event on cats, I'm there. I'm constantly reading books. So, if you specialize in several different animals, it's like you have to kind of divide your time. So I don't really need to do that. It's just if there's something about cats going on, I'm going to be learning about it. So I think that's what's good about it is I really, I'm learning a lot about cats. And so it really translates to being able to help, my clients better.
Right. So there's really so much focus there. So it's like going all in on less and then, yeah, just focusing on that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what's your approach in addressing cat behavior problems? How do you do it?
So I'm also a fear-free certified trainer. So I definitely come from the approach of ensuring that the animal's emotional health is considered. So I never take, like a punishment approach. It's always positive and humane. And really what we're looking to do is when we have cats, inside our homes, it's really kind of unnatural for them. And the best way to resolve issues is really creating more of like a natural environment and letting them act out their natural behaviors. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm meeting with people is like, how can we kind of, take what's, going on in your home and like, just kind of tweak things a little bit so that the cat is able to act out like natural behaviors.
Right. So it's like bringing the outdoors in.
Kind of, yeah. Because if you think about what cats are designed for, they're supposed to be spending their day like hunting and foraging for food. And then they come into our homes and we're like, here's your bowl of food. And it's actually really unnatural if you think about it. So like, what do they do with all their excess energy? Like, what are those, they don't really have outlets for it. And that's where things I think go bad sometimes is like, they have all this like energy and they're smart, but they don't have enough outlets for that.
Right. So they really need the mental and physical stimulation, so to speak. Yeah.
Yes.
And when it comes to giving cats a healthy lifestyle, what are your top recommendations?
So the absolute number one
Right.
is play with your cat.
Okay.
I think a lot of us think that like, all you have to do is like feed your cat and like scoop the litter box and like pet him. But cats really need to act out their hunting behaviors. They have a really strong prey drive. And playing with your cat really mimics hunting. So get a good wand toy like this, with the toy at the end and like, and create a little hunt for your cat. Just like if you had a dog, you would have to walk your dog twice a day. You have to play with your cat. It's an absolute must. So that's my number one. And that actually like fixes so many behavior problems.
Okay.
Other things, I would say that are really important are just making sure cats have like a hiding spot. Like, I don't know if you could see on my bed right now, but I've always got this tunnel. When I'm not sleeping in the bed, I've got a tunnel on my bed and one of my cats loves to sleep in there. So he just feels safe, sleeping in the tunnel during the day. And so giving your cats like a safe spot is so important. And then vertical space is important too. I don't know if you could see further behind me is I have a cat tree and we have vertical space in every room of our apartment. Just because it's so important for cats. They like to climb, they like to view their territory from a high space. And if you have multiple cats, vertical spaces provide additional territory. So they're really important. And just creating like a stimulating environment. Like you have to realize your cat is smart and, what replaces those hunting behaviors, so things like food puzzles or another kind of, any kind of challenges, to give your cat something to do that's exciting and fun are going to be good for their emotional health.
Wow, that makes so much sense. And I can't wait to implement that myself because I have 7 cats that I care of here. Yeah, and really when I play with them, like with that little toy that you showed earlier, I have something like that. They really do give like 100% of their um gusto and effort, that level of excitement, and they really try to catch whatever toy I give them or use to play with them. So yeah, and it's like, yeah, they give 100% of that, like every tissue of their muscle, they use that in order to, just get whatever toy you give them or play with them. So yeah, and which brings me to the question, what challenges do you face in practice? What are some of the challenges that you can share with us?
Yeah. So, I guess the biggest one is just, compliance with the plan. Sometimes, what I try to do when I meet with my clients is explain like why, right? Like, so this is why it's important to play with your cat, right? And then, but sometimes, people are just, they're into their own routine and it's hard for them to develop new habits and new routines. So I would say that's the biggest issue is like, I think if you follow my plan, we're going to be able to resolve the issues. If you don't follow the plan, then like, I did my part, I explained it,
Right.
I laid it all out, what you have to do. But so owner compliance is a big one, and for the most part, I think people, if you're hiring me, you want, you have to make changes, and you're willing to do that. And then of course there's, I think in the field, there's some burnout, and I'm trying my best not to get burned out.
Okay.
And I think, I've allowed myself not to take certain cases, it's like, this is really, sometimes it's like the owner has created the problem, and it can get frustrating, when people are doing things not in the best interest of their cats, like just like common sense type stuff.
Oh, I see. I've never thought of that, but yeah, there are really challenges to face, and we just need to work around it, right? Uh,
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself.
yes, definitely, because it's really the best way that you can also serve other people. Because if there's no self, I mean, you can't really serve others the best way possible. So yeah, and based from your experiences, how do you think can cat parents be the key to their furry companion's happiness?
Realizing, how dependent the cats are on us to provide for them, right? Not only to provide for their physical needs, right? So, feeding, scooping the litter box, resting spots, things like that, but their emotional needs, and realizing that, again, that they're smart animals and they're designed for a lot more enrichment than your typical indoor environment provides. So I think once you realize that, it makes playing and interacting with them and providing challenges easier because that it's really beneficial for your cat. So, I think people think cats are the easy animal, it's like, oh, do I get a dog or do I get a cat? Well, a dog, I'd have to walk it and they're, so interactive. So I'll get a cat because the cats are easy. And I think that's a myth. I think that cats really need more from us than we realize.
Right, right. I totally agree. And cats mostly are very independent, and not all cats are the same. Because, like,
Yeah.
for instance, I have seven, and they have different behaviors. They have different wants. Like some cats, they want to be cuddled. They want to be carried like a baby. Some of them wants to be carried like a koala. The others doesn't want to be carried at all, and yeah, they just want pets and they just want to lie down and have you pet them. So it's really a matter of being sensitive to them and trying to just know and how they feel and think, because it's really I mean, as pet parents, it's really, we're here for them, not really for for selfish reasons. And yeah.
I completely agree with you.
And when it comes to food and nutrition for cats, what do you usually recommend?
So my biggest recommendation is to feed a variety. So it's called a food rotation diet, where
Okay.
you feed a variety of brands, flavors, and maybe even types of food.
Right.
So I just finished this natural animal nutrition class, and the class, basically presented that like dry food is like the lowest level food, and then canned food, and then raw food, and then homemade food, which is kind of hard to do because you have to get the nutrients right. So I don't necessarily recommend that unless you get like professional assistance. So I like to mix it up. I feed my cats raw, I feed them canned, and I feed them just a tiny bit of dry because they act like they're addicted to it. Like I'm giving them potato chips or something, so I just do a
Yeah.
little bit. And I'm always mixing up brands because I just don't trust any one company. So I mix it up. So I think the big takeaway is mixing it up. Don't trust one company to provide nutrition for your cat. It's a $1 billion business. I think last year it was something like a $45 billion business, the pet food industry. And I really believe that they have profits, in mind over our cat's health.
Oh yeah. To top it all, the variety is really the key, and it's really so to speak, the spice of life, not just for us,
Yeah.
also for our pets.
Well, it's exciting, right? Because it's like, ooh, what's for lunch today?
Right. Yeah, it also goes the same for cats, and yeah, it's really one of the keys for them to really have a healthy life. And yeah, as a feline expert, how do you feel when you help cat owners, like your clients, who struggle with issues with their cats that they can't really handle themselves?
I feel so lucky and privileged, that this is the work that I do, because it is just a pleasure for me to help people with their cats. I love providing the background information of like why the behavior is going on. A lot of it is really just education. Like we just don't know a lot about cats, and the internet doesn't have great information out there. It's really mixed. So I really love kind of like helping educate people and then providing them with strategies on how to address the behavior issues. So I just love it, and I find that cat people are the best. They're really fun to work with. They're really receptive. They really want to learn. It's just great. Like I feel so lucky to do this job.
Wow, that's amazing, and yeah, I guess cat people are really a special breed or a different breed. Yeah, and it's great to know that, because some pet owners really struggle with finding the reliable information that they need, because there are so many information out there nowadays, especially at this information age. And the problem usually that I hear is that they really don't know if it's reliable or not, or credible or not. So it's really good to hear that from an expert. And I suppose that would help a lot of our viewers who really want to know how to best care for their pets, especially the new pet owners, new or first time pet owners. Right.
Yeah, one of the best resources, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead. All right.
I was going to say, like, I really like the International Cat Care Association. I believe their website is icatcare.org, and
Okay.
they have great information. So like that's one reliable source. I think like you have to go with your gut. Like if you're reading something online that says, spray your cat with water, like something's wrong there, like something's wrong. If they're telling you like that's the solution to the problem, it just doesn't seem like that's getting to the heart of the matter.
I, I can actually can't believe when I heard that, and still, some people still do that. Yeah, and I guess yeah, awareness is really very vital. And yeah, before we're almost running out of time, do you have any final thoughts? And I mean, is there something that you'd like to leave our audience that you think is important, aside from the things that we've covered?
I think just really paying attention and being mindful and respectful, of your cat is it's just so important, because I think that you really become really aware of like where your cat is, just in terms of like, are they happy? Do they need more? Are they sick? So I think sometimes like we really have to make an effort, because cats are so subtle. They don't, if they're in pain, if they're upset, sometimes you don't know because they're subtle. So really just being mindful, and paying attention, I think can really provide a lot of information, to pet owners.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we really have to do our part because sometimes, or most of the time, actually, cats don't really tell you. They don't really communicate what they feel. And sometimes it's really like with some cats, if they are sick, it's really hard to tell because they really won't let you know until it's already too late. So yeah, I totally agree. Being mindful is really number one actually for cat owners, and that's really very very vital. And yeah, for our viewers who would want to know more about what you do you have a free offer for them or anything that you can share with them or any links that you can share with us where we can find you?
Yeah, so my website is cat-advocate.com. And I would like to share a resource that I created for clients. It's called, it's like a handout that I created called Feline Environmental Considerations.
Mhm.
And it basically covers a lot of what we talked about today. So it's like a good summary of like, play with your cat, provide hiding spaces, just kind of like basic stuff that like your cat needs that maybe, like you just wouldn't get from like your vet or, other resources. It's like a good summary.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, we're gonna be posting the links in our page, and you can check that out. And yeah, thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing with us your expertise and best practices. And
Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. And yeah, thank you as well for being here. And we all can do something to make a difference in the lives of our cats. And you guys in the audience, I hope this show has helped you learn more about how to simply, easily, and compassionately keep your pet healthy and happy, especially cats. And I wish you so much love and a healthy and happy life with your pets. And so, bye for now. And I'll see you around for updates and for future events. Thank you.